Hey everyone, today's circuit and Tabata workout is going to focus on upper body and core. Now this is the follow-up to last week's workout, same structure, focusing on lower body. So if you're looking for a total body longer workout, do this video and the other one back to back. This is also the same structure used in my circuit and Tabata class pack. Last fall, I posted a full version on my YouTube channel for free, and there are 4 others using the same structure but all different exercises that are available for purchase and download. You can stream them right from your computer, or you can use them on YouTube just as you would other videos. All that information about the Studio Pumps class pack is available below in the description. If you're new to this workout structure, it's broken up into a circuit and then a Tabata blast. For the circuit, I'm going to give you 5 exercises. You're going to do each for 45 seconds, and you're going to do them back to back without rest. Once you complete all 5, then we'll rest for 30 seconds, and in total, we're going to go through that circuit 4 times. For the Tabata, I'm going to give you 2 exercises. You're going to alternate between them for 8 rounds using an interval structure of 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest. No equipment needed for today's workout. These are all body weight exercises. And as always, before we do the circuit, I'm going to show you the exercises and how to modify, and then I'll do the same thing before the Tabata. As with all workouts, you want to make sure you're properly warmed up beforehand and always listen to your body, modifying or stopping as needed. I have 2 warm-ups on my channel you could do that I will link to below. If you're new to my channel, I don't play music in the background because I want you to be able to listen to whatever you like. So if you don't have a playlist or a TV show queued up, you might want to get that going. And with all that said, let's get to the preview of our circuit. We are going to start with clapping sit-ups. So you'll crunch left knee in, and when you do, you're going to clap behind the left thigh, and then you'll extend back out. Same thing right side, and then you'll do both knees in, clapping behind the thighs. So starting kind of a T shape, arms outstretched, legs at a hover, and then you clap behind one leg, the other leg, and then do both together. So the purpose of the clap is basically just to force you to crunch up enough that your hands can actually touch behind your legs. That being said, as you crunch up, I don't want you to hunch through your shoulders and round. So think about keeping an open chest and a really long spine as you sit up and do that. So if you're not able to bring your hands together behind your thighs, keeping that open chest, then don't worry about actually touching the fingers. You have 10 seconds to go. Coming up next, we are going to find a side plank position, and I want you to mirror me. So you're going to put your left forearm down. We're going to start with a hip dip in this side plank position, and then you're going to crunch your right knee and right elbow towards each other. So hips lift down to a hover, crunch them back up, and then do that top crunch. So this is an oblique exercise, but it is also an exercise for that bottom left shoulder. So I want you to make sure that you're not sinking into that shoulder socket. You should not be scrunching the shoulder up to your ear. So really push the floor away, stay long through the neck. Now, if balance is an issue, I want you to stagger your feet instead of stacking them. So you would just take that top right foot and place it in front of your left foot on the floor, and that is going to help. Last few seconds here. We're going to burn out the triceps next. We are going to come into crab kicks with a little tricep dip. So you sort of come into a reverse tabletop position, hands on the floor, knees bent. And then from here, you're going to kick one leg up at a time. And as you kick, you're going to give me a little tricep dip. So you have your fingertips pointing forward. And if these get to be too much, just slow down the kick so that it's more like a march. As you can see, I'm sort of doing now. And then when you're ready, you go back into that kick. Now your core is still active here as well. So I want you to knit the ribs together and squeeze your glutes. So the switch, as you're switching from one foot to the next, you're kind of bringing your hips up, squeezing into the base of the seat. Final few seconds here. I'm going to get you off your wrists up next. We're going to come into a leg drop with a spread. So I want you to lay on your back. Legs will start straight up towards the ceiling. You're going to lower them to a hover. Holding them at a hover, you're going to spread them wide, bring them back to center, and then you're going to lift them up. Now, I'm doing this with my shoulder blades crunched off of the floor, elbows wide. If that is too intense, I want you to bring your hands under your butt to support that low back. Your goal is to maintain neutral spine when you do that. So really think of drawing your belly button down towards the floor. If you can feel your back peeling up towards the ceiling, you need to modify this by not lowering your legs quite as low in that hover, okay? So maybe you just come down to like a 45-degree angle and do the spread there. All right, we are coming into a march and a push-up. So we're just doing one arm at a time with the march. So in a plank position, you would bring left elbow down, back to high plank, give me one push-up. And then right elbow down, back to plank, one push-up. Okay, now if you are advanced, I want you staying on your feet the whole time, okay? So even during those push-ups. And then if you want to modify, you stay on your knees the whole time. The kind of in-between version is the one I'm doing right now, where knees are down for that push-up, and then you pop to your feet for the marching plank. So this is upper body and core working here. We are trying to maintain neutral spine. So low abs draw up and in, knit your ribs together. And then upper body, of course, is working when we're doing that push-up and that march. Final few seconds. And you have 30 seconds to rest. Okay, so first time through the circuit is complete. We have 3 more times through to go. The only change this second time is when we do that side plank, we'll just isolate the right side instead of our left side. We have those clapping sit-ups coming up, so let's start getting into position here. It's kind of like a bicycle crunch. And again, if clapping the hands behind your thighs doesn't work, don't worry about that. Just bring the hands in towards your side and focus on that lower body. One knee, then the next, then both together as you do that sit-up. The goal in these is when you lower down, you're just coming to a hover. So your legs are hovering over the floor. And while your back comes down, we kind of keep our shoulder blades slightly lifted. So at the bottom of this, think hollow body hold, even though you're just in it for that split second. Now let's check in with our neck. I want you to make sure that you are not closing your chin down towards your chest, especially as you lower to that hollow body hold. So you should be able to fit a fist between chin and chest. That's going to kind of keep the neck at neutral. All right, side plank. This time your right forearm is going to come down to the floor. So you can mirror me. And we do one hip dip, one top crunch. So hips lower, crunch them up. Left knee, left elbow. So when you lift the hips back up, really think of arcing them up to the ceiling, almost as if you could make a rainbow shape through that side body. I also want you to check in on the alignment of the hips. In a side plank, sometimes that top hip wants to sort of roll back. Instead, I want you to make sure the top hip is stacked directly over the bottom hip. Try to get in 1, maybe 2 more reps. You're almost there. And we're going to take it into crab kicks. So you find that kind of reverse tabletop position, fingers point forward, nice broad chest, knees bent, and you kick up one leg at a time. As you do, you are dipping those elbows. So the advanced version of this, there's a brief split second where both feet are off the floor as you kind of switch mid-air. If that gets to be too much, slow it down as I'm doing now so that it's more of a march. One foot up and down, then the other foot up and down. And then if you need to take out the kicks altogether, I want you to just focus on that tricep dip. Goal here, burn out the backs of the arms. You got it, just 10 seconds, less than that now. Maybe you try to pick up the pace a little bit for the this last push. Leg drop with that spread coming up. So we are going to lay down, elbows wide, fingers by the ears, but don't pull on your neck. Lift the shoulder blades off the floor. Straight legs are going to drop down to a hover. Spread them wide, bring them back to center, and then lift them up with control. And again, the goal, maintain neutral spine as you do this. You'll notice I'm putting my hand on my stomach. Sometimes that tactile cue, it kind of helps just to remind me to keep my pelvic bone at neutral. And don't let that low back peel up towards the ceiling. So as the legs lower, I want you to picture you could almost slightly pull the front of your hip bones up towards your bottom ribs. Last move, let's go. We got that march into the push-up. So we find our plank position, march one elbow down, back up to straight arms. Give me that push-up and then the other side. Now, I, of course, want you doing the hardest version that you personally can do. So if you can stay on your feet the whole time, I want you to do that. But as soon as you notice form getting sloppy, I want you to take a step down version of this, okay? Come to the knees for the push-ups or maybe stay on your knees for the whole thing. It is better to tone it down in intensity and keep proper form on this. So upper body is getting the big challenge, but core has to be active. So make sure that low back isn't sinking down to the floor. Okay, 30 seconds to rest. We are officially halfway through this circuit. Now, if you need longer than 30 seconds to rest right now, I want you to pause the video, maybe take 60 seconds to rest. Try not to take any more than like 90 to 2 minutes though. We are going to start this circuit from the top, round number 3 of 4 through it. Same thing, just we will switch which side we do that side plank on. We'll go back to the left side. First up though is going to be those clapping sit-ups. So let's make our way onto our back. And you're off. You are past that halfway point. Let's check in on our form. Remember, as you sit up, I want you to think broad, open chest. So we are not hunching and rounding through the back. If that means you need to take out the clap and just keep hands by your side, do that. Side plank is coming up at the beeps. Mirror me, I want you to put your left forearm down. We find that side plank position, hip dip, top crunch. If you need to modify, you are going to keep your left knee down on the floor like a kickstand. We do not rest the hips on the floor though, okay? Even when we do that dip, you just bring it to a hover and then arc them back up like a crunch. You got about 10 seconds to go. You got this. Tricep dip crab kicks are going to come up next. And make your way into that reverse tabletop position. Fingertips point forward. Roll your shoulder blades down your back so you go into this with an open chest. And then from here, you're kicking one foot up at a time. Now, I do want you to get your heart rate up on these, okay? It is kind of meant to be a faster exercise. So I want you to kick for as long of this as possible. And then again, if it gets to be too much, dial down the speed, march instead of kind of jumping between the kicks. Just about 10 seconds to go. Maybe you try to pick up the pace a little bit. If you took out the hop, maybe you add it back in. And lay it down. We have that leg drop with the spread at the bottom. So elbows wide, fingers by the ears, crunch your shoulder blades off of that floor. And then from here, you drop the legs, spread at the bottom. Now, if you notice yourself kind of pulling on your neck and closing your chin down to your chest, then maybe pick a different arm position or just really think light fingertips, open up those elbows a little wider. And if you notice that your low back is peeling up to the ceiling, I want you to modify, put your hands under your bum for me, okay? That's gonna help keep the pelvic bone at neutral. Now, yes, I want you to challenge how low you get those legs, because the lower in the hover they are, the harder, but not by sacrificing proper form. So if you are feeling your back peel up, only go to a 45-degree angle. Okay, march to push up, flip around. You find your plank position. We march right, push up, march left, push up. Now, when we do the push-up, I want you to make sure that we are keeping that spine at neutral. I know I'm a broken record about this, but sometimes we tend to forget about that in push-ups. So picture you're drawing your navel in towards the spine. Also squeeze your glutes, okay? Your glutes are part of your core, so your butt is active here throughout the movement. Now, when you do the march, I want as little dipping of the hips as possible, so try to hold them steady. 30 seconds to rest. Okay, we have one more time through this circuit, one final time, and then you are done with the circuit portion of this workout. You got it. Again, if you do need a little longer to recover, you can pause, but try to keep it to a minimum, maybe 60 seconds max this time. All right, now I know that we are a lot more tired at this point than the first time through the circuit, but I want you to think it back to the first round and try to match that performance, okay? Clapping sit-ups, let's go. One knee in at a time, returning to that hovering hollow body hold with the arms outstretched wide. Last time you were gonna see this exercise, so kind of use that knowledge to pump up your mental game, okay? Push yourself. I want this to be your best round yet. If form is getting sloppy, slow it down, but try not to stop altogether, okay? I would much rather you modify and stay active and keep moving than to take breaks. Final few seconds, we're gonna find that side plank. Right form's gonna come down to the floor. Woo, okay, check that exercise off the list. Side plank, hip dip, top crunch. Let's do a little form check. Hips are stacked one on top of the other. So you're going to take that top left hip and pull it forward slightly so that it's stacked on top of the right, if you notice yourself kind of dumping backwards. Now let's check in on that shoulder. We are pushing the floor away, staying strong through that bottom right shoulder. If you need to modify, knee comes down like a kickstand. Don't rest your hips on the floor though. Final few seconds, maybe you get in 1, 2 more reps. Crab kicks, let's go. Knees bent, feet on floor, chest is broad, fingertips point forward. And let's burn out the backs of the arms. So you're bending through the elbows, dipping the hips down and up. As you do, you're kicking one leg up at a time. So I want you to push yourself. If you've been marching the whole time, maybe you try to mix in like 10 seconds kicking, kind of hopping between with a fast pace. And then as needed, you slow it back down. All right, final 10 seconds. Let's pick it up. I'm going to push myself right to the end. I want you to try to too. Can you pick up that pace just a little bit? Kick, kick. Last few seconds. Almost there. Leg drop with a spread. So we're going to lay it down. Hands can come under your hips if you need the support. Otherwise, elbows wide, fingers by the ears. Crunch, legs straight, and we drop and spread with control. Final few seconds here. Make sure you're drawing the navel down towards the floor. Button those bottom two ribs together for me. Chin off of chest. And just like that, you're in your final exercise of this circuit. March, push up, march, push up. You got this. Find that high plank position or knees down if you're modifying. Now, when you do that push-up, let's make sure we're not getting sloppy. Sometimes we tend to just sort of droop the head down towards the floor without actually lowering our chest. I want you to think long, neutral neck and lead with your chest as you bend the elbows while still keeping the core in nice and tight. And done. All right, you have about 60 seconds to recover here. I'm going to show you the exercises that are coming up in your Tabata. Okay, so we're going to start with offset plank jacks. In your forearm plank position, basically one side is in a forearm plank and the other is in a low tricep push-up. So I want you to notice how far back I bring my hand. It's under my ribs, it's not directly under my shoulder. That allows me to get the elbow to a 90-degree bend. Once you're in that position, you're going to hop your feet out, in, out, in. You want to keep your hips as close to shoulder height as possible, so don't pike them up into the air. It's fine if they're a little higher as you hop the feet out wide. Last few seconds, and rest. Okay, we're going to do kind of a chest to floor burpee, but we're going to take out the top jump, basically. So it's a sprawl, but we're going to lower our chest all the way down to the floor. You're going to push off explosively, land in a low squat. And right back down, chest to floor. So this is a total body exercise, but you are really working that upper body to push off of the ground. Core stays active as you do it. If these are too much, just jump to a plank instead of lowering your chest all the way to the floor. And rest. Okay, we're going to come into that offset plank jack again. Switch sides, okay? So your other forearm is going to be down, and then you bring the back hand way far back, kind of by the ribs. So your elbows are at opposing 90-degree angles, basically, but your chest should still be square to the floor, okay? If your chest isn't square to the floor, then your hand might need to shift a couple inches back. Ten seconds to rest. Sprawl, lowering your chest to the ground, coming up. You got it. Give me one, maybe two more reps. Almost there. And rest just like that. You're halfway through this Tabata. Okay, so we have 2 minutes total left in this workout. You got this. Once again, alternate the setup of your hands for this offset plank jack. And if this feels weird or you're not getting the position, it's just not feeling right, I want you to just do regular plank jacks. Okay, just put both forearms down. And rest. 3 more push intervals to go. You got this. Sprawls coming up. When you lower your body to the floor, do it with control, okay? So it's like you're in a plank moving to a low plank, or moving to a low push-up. So I want you to squeeze your quads and glutes, core is active, and with control, those elbows go back, chest hits the floor, and then you push off explosively. And rest. Okay, final set. One last time, alternate the setups of your arms. So one forearm is down, slide the other hand back under your ribs so that elbow is at a 90-degree angle. And then you hop those feet out, in, out, in. Final few seconds. Can you pick up the pace at all? Right to the end. Don't bail. You're too close. And rest. Okay, we are done with that exercise. You got one more 20-second push. Sprawls, lowering your chest to the floor, and then you are done with this workout. I want you to dig deep, dial up the pace maybe a little bit if you have some energy to burn, and let's go. Final few seconds here, right till you hear those beeps. And done. Awesome job. Hope you enjoyed this workout. If you did, you know the drill. Give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my channel. And if you like the structure of this, I have a lower body one, exact same structure, linked below. I also have a total body one that combines the circuit and Tabata for the lower body and the circuit and Tabata for the upper body and core. So it's like a full 45-minute workout class, including a warm-up and a cool down. That's linked below. It does require some equipment, but you just need a set of weights and a resistance band loop. And if you like that one, I have a whole class pack for sale. It's $30 and you get 5 workouts. You can stream it to your computer or you can watch it on YouTube. I give you links for that as well. Check out all the details below, and I will see you here next week.